Here we are in Pearls of Wisdom once again, and I'm so happy and honored to welcome Justin Hunter, who is from Fiji and has an extraordinary pearl business producing beautiful, beautiful pearls from Fiji, which we'll talk about the oysters, and we'll talk about Justin's environmental code of practice and the blue economy, and that's what means to you. So welcome, Justin. Hello in Fiji.
Hey, thank you very much, David. I've always enjoyed our friendship and being part of this and contributing what I can as kind of a newbie to the industry and bring in a different perspective. And I enjoy the opportunity, and thank you.
You're already an old timer, my dear. So Justin, first of all, where did you grow up, and how did you get into pearling?
You know, I'm from Fiji. My mother's, a Fijian, a mixed race lady from here. My father was a real estate guy, a fast-talking American who came down and tried to buy my mother's plantation from her father, and he kicked off my father and turned around, and my mother was gone. So I've got I was an American father and a Fijian mother. My dad died when I was quite young, and I went to school with his family in the U.S. who were into aquaculture in Washington State. And I think any kid that is from Fiji that lives Fiji, you're always happy to go, but once you're there, you're always looking at how you're going to get back home. And things just turned out well with aquaculture and pearls, and a unique background that I had to do this.
And you're in Savusavu, where the farm and where you live. Is that where your mom is from?
Yes, my mother is from Savusavu, which is a really funky little town. Right now, I'm in Suva, which is the capital city of Fiji, and this is where we've kind of got our flagship shop in the Grand Pacific Hotel, which is built 100 years ago, or more than that. So we're back and forth because my kids go to school over here now. Savusavu is a small little sleepy town, and yeah, that's where I grew up, and that's where all my family's from.
And how far is Savusavu from the capital, Suva? Is it a boat ride?
There's daily flights. It's about a 45-minute flight there. You get there. We've got Savusavu is a unique place. It's really beautiful. It's got quite a bit of freehold because during the Civil War, of all things, they looked to reproduce cotton outside of America, and so Germans came down and there's freehold tracts. And Savusavu is a concentrated area, and that's why you've got kind of this mixed race of early Europeans and Samoans, and it's a really unique, diverse, very friendly place and great place.
I should tell everybody who's watching us today, it's March the 5th, 2021, and there's been a huge 8.1 earthquake off the coast of northern New Zealand. So the whole of the Pacific's under a tsunami warning. So if Justin just gets up and starts running up a hill, we'll know what's going on. But we're sending out our prayers for everyone in the regions, of course.
Yeah, and that's that. I was looking to go surfing, but when we heard that, we thought we'd give it a miss.
Golly. Well, Justin, tell us about how you then got into pearling, and for all our viewers who really don't know much about pearl farming, we need to always learn more how hard it is and how we're learning to work with these beautiful humble oysters that are filter feeders. And you have this wonderful saying about them that like we are stewards of the sea, and as an indicator species, these beautiful oysters do tell us if something's going wrong with the sea. And I know you're very passionate about conservation aquaculture. So can you tell us all about your life in pearling and the blue economy as such?
Yeah. I started in 2000, and I was really kind of a new person on the pearling scene. And I think most people didn't give me much of a chance when I came into it, and not even in Fiji, to be quite honest. I did come from a unique background, which is bivalve aquaculture. I worked in a lot of hatcheries in the big island of Hawaii, California, Oregon, Washington State. And so I came with a unique perspective, knowing what bivalve aquaculture is, knowing more about the oyster farming than the pearl farming. And so I brought that expertise here, and also knowing quite a bit about hatcheries and reproduction, and really understanding a lot more of the science behind the oyster than the pearl. And it's been a great adventure. I guess I took some risks on very early on in terms of what I wanted to produce, which is whatever anybody else is producing, let's go the opposite way. And so we tried to produce a pearl that was different from the traditional white or black. And Fiji is now known really for some really unique colors, earthy tones, I call them. Some people don't like them. Asia kind of doesn't. But the Europeans and America does like these new colors we're bringing on. Um, and I think David, and what was kind of a changing point in my life, which was interesting, is I think we had an auction in Japan in Tokyo in 2006 or 7. And we had a lot of the big buyers. The Mikimotos were there, the Vok was there, the a lot of them, because we had an exclusive kind of auction. And I guess it's good to be new and naive, because we produced a great product, and that gave me a platform to be there and be able to speak in. But I was ignorant enough to get up there in front of the Mikimoto buying team, in front of the Gellners, the Hans, the who we know as big buyers, Alex Vok and these people. And I stood up there and I said, if you don't mind, you guys are missing the best marketing platform in pearls. You've done everything wrong for 100 years. And no, sorry about that if I'm offending anyone. But I go, and I had my environmental code of practice, which I just put together there. And I said, if you don't just look at pearls as a commodity, but about the places they're from, and these islands and these beautiful communities, and about the social, economic, and environmental benefits that pearls bring these beautiful places in the world that really don't have very many other opportunities for cash. And and I said, this is what we've got to market. And I think most of my e-cops that I put on the desk during the bidding process were still there, but I think Alex Vok, wrote that up in a Sotheby's auction of one of our strands about this environmental code of practice, and it was caught on by Dr. Laurent Cartier, who we all know, of the Swiss Gemological Institute. And he said for him that was a big moment. He saw that, and him and the Tiffany Foundation started Sustainable Pearls. And from that little move, I've been really lucky. And I spoke in Dubai. I speak all around the world, and it's definitely the beautiful pearls. We produce great pearls, but I think I brought another way to look at them, to another value that most people didn't realize that pearls brought to it.
I'm sure you did, and you're really leading the way in teaching us kind of old timers, people like me who are 5th generation pearl families. Just I love the sea. I go swimming all the time. I'm addicted to it, and I've always will live and die a pearl man. But just to think of we, not me, and to think beyond my little world into the fact that if we are trying to buy and grow the Fijian pearl business, it's supporting an entire community of people, and it's making awareness around the aquaculture and the fragility of our oceans, and where you've done speeches and work on the blue economy and the sustainability. It's you need fresh people and fresh eyes to come and see something. so that we see that pearls aren't just a shiny commodity. They really are this connection with something ancient that's been here long before humans and will probably be here long after us, the oceans. And so
Yeah,
everything that you do is vital, really, for us lot as a species, and pearls and oysters too.
and I think, you know, the way I look at it is I think the story of pearls, and right now when consumer consciousness about experiences and the environment, and I think especially now, even with COVID, it's more reinforced. You know, we've got to look after this planet. And you know, like I said before, you know, to grow pearls, these are done in some of the most remote places in the world because we've got to have certain water quality issues. And and you know, when you've got a pearl farm, you've got people on the front lines that are in, and most of our countries are developing countries, you know, Tahiti, the Philippines, through that.
Mm.
And it's really these pearl farms are pockets of, of, of MPAs, marine protected areas, and it's not done just as lines on a map. These places are protected because of the contribution they give to the local environment, the local people, you know. And if the local people see a benefit in maintaining that marine environment, then we can fix a lot of things. You know, we can look after these oceans a lot better when we show the people who live on them right there that the benefits actually come from a clean environment. You need it because
Yes.
pearl shouldn't be moving away from islands. We should be changing the communities around us, bringing up environmental awareness, and making sure that pearl farmers and the people who work for us become stewards of the sea, because we've got a vested interest in maintaining that. And and I think right now we've got a unique opportunity to tell that story, and not only within traditional gems and luxury, but I think this has the potential to tie into a much broader consumer base. The ones who want to feel like they're contributing to ocean preservation. And you know, I've always said if the consumer can feel like when they buy a ocean produced, responsible produced marine pearl,
Yes.
they can feel like they're not just buying simply a nice piece of jewelry, but they should feel like they're investing in the health of our oceans and the long-term health of their planet, because that is what they're doing. And it's just a unique time. And you know, and with COVID also, you know, it's horrible, but it reinforces this story. This reinforces the way we have to think and the way we have to
Mm.
engage with consumers. Um,
Yes.
Luxuries, you know, in my view, sustainable luxury is the future, and there is no product on the market like oceanic marine cultured pearls.
Here, here. I'm so with you, and it makes absolute perfect
We
sense what
become
you're
very
saying.
passionate. We
Yes.
become very
Uh,
passionate, but but it is true. I
and
believe it.
rightly so. You know that famous American philosopher Joseph Campbell in the Power of Myth series, which was on public broadcasting system. He said his credo was follow your bliss, and whatever you really passionately believe in, you know, follow that, and that's your life's work. And in your case, you've only been in pearling since 2000, but you're so a leading light. And one of my big questions to you was going to be, what are you passionate about? But it's evident in everything you've said very, very much. It's true.
Yeah, you know, I got into pearls because I wanted to make money. Let's not make any qualms about that. Um, but I think, you know, after going through cyclones, after going things through COVID, and that, you realize that some things are are just not only about money. This is about passion. This is about these beautiful places, Fiji, Tahiti, Philippines, you know, Western Australia. That these places are where are some of the most beautiful untouched areas in the world, and it's
Mm.
because of those pearls there, you know. And we're the ones who are going to draw a line in the sea, if you want, and say, if you're going to live near a pearl farm, you've got to do it responsibly, or don't do it at all, because you're going to impact us. And that's going to be our contribution, because marine protected areas, conservation, the greatest threat to conservation in our part of the world is poverty. Poverty is the greatest threat to our environment. And if we can create a culture where we talk about resource preservation because it's tied to pearl farming instead of resource extraction, we change a lot of things, and we
Yes.
show that there is, and that is basically the definition of the blue economy, is where you merge conservation and economic opportunities. And if you think about that, how many things do that? Not many.
No, no.
Pearl farming, by its nature, is conservation based. You know, an oyster is very sensitive to any decline in water quality. So we're always got a vested interest in making sure that the areas around us, upland, downstream, are not doing anything wrong. We're going to bring that fight. And why it works is because we're creating economic opportunities for these places. Without economic opportunities and returns to these people, they would sell out. They would let people, dredge or do whatever they could for money.
Yeah.
But if we can show them a different model, this is interesting. And again, it's merging conservation and economic opportunities in some of the most beautiful remote places in the world, and that's how people can preserve them, by supporting that product.
Yes. Fantastic. And Justin, no, but I'm going to carry on my job of helping you promote your beautiful Fijian Justin Hunter pearls in those beautiful pastel colors, and do my bit. You're so inspiring.
I hope I'm hoping I get a lot of support from other pearl farmers. Probably my biggest supporters are other pearl farmers who say thank you for this, and that means quite a bit, because we're fierce competitors. But I'm trying to bring another a way to look at things, and I think it's something we all want to benefit. We've all got a beautiful product, and so it's a great business to be in.
And competition in that kind was very 1980s. Like now, 2020s onwards, we realize, like, in a way, there's one of us on one planet. We're much more united than we think. And like that famous Zen saying, when the butterfly flaps its wings and the tree falls over in Fiji, or whatever it is. But yeah, you had Cyclone Winston, which was like a full force direct hit perfect storm 2.5 years ago, and I know your hatchery was wiped out.